For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back. WFO Radio back on the air. We got a great show for you today. We are getting ready for the New England Nationals. Going to head up to Boston tomorrow and get it on. We got back-to-back events. Also, Thunder Valley. Thunder Valley is having their big media day today, and some of the drivers are out there, including Justin Ashley. Justin is going to be joining us on the show from Media Day. He's supposed to race somebody. What's he going to be doing? Are they going to be on the practice tree? Who knows? But we're going to hear from Justin in just a little bit, about 25 minutes. Also going to hear from what I believe to be the newest top alcohol funny car licensed racer, Maddi Gordon, and Doug, her dad. And I'm joking around with the title of the show, everything, because everyone's super excited about Maddi. And I'm not implying that they're less excited about Doug. We'll talk to him a little bit. Doug did not make the show for his big Vegas win. Of course, we had Tony Stewart on, right? Tony Stewart. Doug Gordon, our world champ, won Vegas also, and we're going to talk with him about that. So if you're a fan of the alcohol funny cars, if you're a fan of Lucas Oil Sportsman Racers, if you're a fan of the future of NHRA drag racing looking very bright, with Maddi Gordon and Justin Ashley and the new deal, Maynard Ashley Racing and all this stuff, plus a little preview of the New England Nationals, I ask you to share this show on all your social stuff. Just share, push it out so people can get to know these great drivers, these people that we have. But first, let me tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like the folks at Foggit. That's right, Foggit. It is a product that you spray into your engine to protect the inside of your cylinders, like the hone and all of that stuff is exposed to corrosion every time you shut off the car and put it away for the night in the trailer. Think you're running .90 racing, big money bracket racing. We learned a lot about it from Gary Stinnett, Steve Williams, who run the show over there at Foggit. And they've got a contingency program for the divisional level. They've got a lot going on. Go to foggit.com, foggit.com. They've got a YouTube channel as well to learn more. Works on firearms. It works on all kinds of other stuff. It is a specialized fogging oil rust inhibitor that is designed for high-performance racing engines. And really, so far, you can notice the logo everywhere because people are jumping on board because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It works in the machine shop as well for machining parts and pieces. Everybody is finding great new uses. You heard a little bit about FTIperformance.com already, and it says just as simple as look at the winner circle. Look at the winner circle photographs. Pro Mod, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, .90, big money bracket stuff. A lot of the winners, like the lion's share, are rocking the FTIperformance.com logo. And that's because they make great products, especially if you are making huge power, but not just for drag racing, also for the street. Check them out, FTIperformance.com. The folks at Phillips Connect, of course, we'll talk with Justin Ashley a little bit about it now that Mr. Epler is involved in the team as a team owner, which is great news. Boy, did they strengthen that team for the future. But Phillips Connect is strengthening the trucking and transportation industry. You're out over the road. Your trucks are out over the road. More importantly, what are they doing? Where are they? Are they loaded? Is there a brake light out? Is a wheel hub heating up? What's the status of your trucks and trailers out there over the road? And the answer is you don't know and you can't know. And by the time you know, it might be too late. With Phillips Connect, they provide sensors and connected sensors so that you can monitor all of that. Hey, driver 8, you got a problem. Take a break. All that stuff. Phillips-connect.com. And if you would like a personalized introduction, you can email me, joe@wforadio.com. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. From stock eliminator to Formula One, Total Seal fits the rings. And we just did a new episode of Hidden Horsepower, going to drop on Friday. Great stuff. Dan Tim, this guy has been like involved in NASCAR and Trans Am and championships, and had a Smokey Unique story in the first 2 minutes of his being on the show. Well, Smokey Unique. What? You knew Smokey? Oh yeah. Incredible stuff. That's what Hidden Horsepower is all about. The Rockstar engine builders. And coincidentally, it's really strange, they all seem to use Total Seal piston rings. You should too. Folks at Bernie Speed Shop, this is Josh Hart. Josh Hart racing against Cruz Pedregon, Top Fuel Dragster versus Funny Car out there at Indy. That's awesome. We're going to learn more about that in the future. Bernie's, you should already know, 100,000 square feet of awesomeness, exotics, classics, frame-off restorations, doing engines, doing paintwork. They do it all at Bernie's, BURNYZZ.com, Bernie's Speed Shop, Josh Hart's business. Later on in the show, we'll tell you about samtech.edu. We'll tell you about Frank Hawley's drag racing school, and we'll tell you about the man, Marvin Rodex, got me all fired up today, and also how to become a Patreon super supporter of WFO Radio. Remember, share the show. We're on at a different day and a different time, and we want everybody to know these two. Joining me now, Maddi and Doug Gordon. What's up, guys? How are you doing? Maddi and Doug.
Hey, Joe. Doing good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, excited to be on.
Okay, Doug, I was just joking, right? Like, Maddi gets all the attention, and, you're just her dad.
The has-been.
Washed up. Washed up, multi-time world champion and reigning, by the way. How does that feel to get bumped out of the spotlight with the number 1 on the car?
Dude, I'm stoked. I actually get to put my my trophies up on the mantle now. When I had 1, Christina's like, I don't know. It doesn't balance right. If you get 2, then we can put both of them on there. So we got to move the trophy from the closet. Actually, we have a nice closet, but from the closet to the pool table room in the house. So we're stoked.
That's great. That's great. And so I did mention that right after the big Vegas win for Smoke, we had him on WFO. It was a huge deal. So great for the alcohol ranks. And I want to, of course, afford you that same opportunity. But the fact that Maddi got licensed to me is a huge story. Front page of NHRA.com. A lot has been made about Maddi and Macy and how they work on the car and what they do, and they're world champions. But now she is a driver. So Maddi, what was it like? How awesome was it?
It was a lot. I had kind of tried to prepare myself for it to be super fast and crazy because that's what everyone told me. And then when I hit the gas for the first time, I was like, oh my God. And then it front end was up. I had never felt that before. So front end was up and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it was going to the center line and then it just started shaking and rattling. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's enough. And then we have the radio. So Dad talked to me and he was like, you did a great job. That was tire shake. And I was so stoked. Dad said that was tire shake. So I'm like, if that was normal, that was not good. I hope that was not normal. So it was definitely super fast and it was a lot, but I love it. It's really fun.
Okay, Doug, you're a world champ. She's your daughter, but I want you to be as impartial and accurate and as best as you can. How did she do from your perspective? And maybe before you answer that, what's that feeling like as a dad, putting your little girl in there, alcohol funny car and, sending her out there?
Honestly, she did a very, very good job. She's been, we worked on the staging procedure in the pits to start the year. So every time we warm the car up in the pits this year, she is actually, the one warming it up. So that I think helped out a lot. And then, my big fear was burnout. She's done burnouts in dragsters, but she's never done a burnout in funny car. Is she going to be able to do it? Is she going to, end up, sticking the tire, whatever, over revving it? And honestly, I don't think if anybody didn't, know it wasn't me in the car, they would have assumed it was me in the car. She did a fantastic job. Burnouts looked great. She backed up great. She drove the car great. It was very difficult track. Ended up being a 95-degree day or almost 100-degree day. We had 149-degree track temperature, and we thought we could just back it down and get it down. And it went out there and either smoked the tires at the head or went out there and smoked the tires between 100 and 200 feet every run, which we haven't done in years, but So we weren't able to get the car all the way down the track, but I mean, she did as good as could have been done. She didn't let it get out of control when it spit in the tires, and I was very impressed with all of her abilities.
Wow, that is tremendous. Tom Mock sent me some photographs, and you guys sent me some photographs, so I want to make sure everybody gets credit for the photos, but it looked like it was awesome. Maddi, right there, like that's a passing move. Like you felt something that was maybe like, this kind of doesn't feel right. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel, but this doesn't feel like it's right. And so you lifted. And that's the wisdom of the driver, as opposed to like, I can hang with this, I'll show them. And obviously that comes from all the time spent with your dad.
Yeah, in general, like, I don't know, just because I'm a girl or what, but in general, I'm pretty timid with things. Like, I don't like to do anything, that's, I feel like I can't do a good job at it, or kind of drive out of my comfort zone per se. So in that kind of effect, my pop's like, come on, Maddi, it's a funny car, step on it. Because I would, when I'm first driving it up in the pits, I'd be like all slow and like, he's like, come on, you gotta be aggressive. This is a guy's car, let's go. And I'm like, okay. So in general, I'm pretty timid, but I don't like to drive or do something that I don't think I can do well per se. So when it started shaking and spinning, I'm like, it's just like I had never felt that before, and everything just got blurry, and I'm like, oh no. And so I think that definitely driving juniors and super comps and everything, and has definitely helped with just like the natural ability to drive. Not that I did amazing or anything, but just in the fact that it helps me like feel the car and know what it's doing, rather than having to go through a huge long learning curve of the funny car.
That's awesome. We got some people out there. Nicole Clark, who does her own podcast and does a lot of different stuff, says, love the Gordon family, true racing family. Everyone in family is involved for 3 generations. Absolutely. Rick says he can't wait to see Maddi blaze the 1320. Go Maddi. Everybody saying what's up. Kind of cool. Yeah, guys, help us build the audience numbers by sharing the show and letting your friends know all about that. Okay, what's next for the plan? Like, okay, so first of all, who signed the license? Like, you are a licensed driver now, as I understand it. Your dad's one. Who else?
So I actually didn't end up getting my license because I have to go, because it's an upgraded license. So I have to go do a 660 pass and then 2 quarter-mile passes. But I never was able to get past like 200 feet because we just either smoked the tires or spun. So I had to lift before I could make it all the way down. So I don't have my license, but we're hoping to make some passes after a national event or some Monday after we've already raced. So then hopefully then I can get my license there. But I don't actually have my license yet.
But she had the 2 people that were going to be there to sign her license. Sean Bellemere actually made the trip over. He was going to test his dad's car on Saturday, but he made the trip over with his daughter and stuff on Friday. And so she had the last 5 world championships or whatever was there on site to sign her license off.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Sean and his dad were there. Sean was there at the end, my first pass ever. He has a video of me getting out of the car. It was really cool. And then his dad were there at the end of the track after I made almost every pass, which was super cool. So I was really happy that they were able to go. Awesome stuff. No, super excited. My apologies for thinking that the process was completed, but that's actually a good thing because now we can track it and we can follow it. And I really like the idea of after an event on an NHRA prepped track, one of those tests. I've been to a few of those Monday Nationals, if you will. Jasmine Salinas is out there doing the same thing with Top Fuel, making laps. And that is probably a great place to do it. So Doug, let's talk about the Vegas win, clearly, but what's the schedule, right? Like what are we thinking as the tour starts to wind back west? We're going to New England, and then we're going to Bristol, and then we're going to Norwalk, and then it's the Western Swing. So where are we going to see you and your team next?
Well, we're actually going to start. It's kind of weird for us because, normally West Coast car, we get to start at Pomona in February and we get to spread between February and November. But this year, with the way the schedule went, we didn't go to Gainesville. So it really kind of, we're crunching everything into a smaller span of time. But we're going to be at Denver in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that is, at the regional race at Denver, which we love it there. We won it a couple years ago, and that place is just a phenomenal place to go to. And then and it's its last year, 65 years running. But then we're going to go to Norwalk and see if we can get the ice cream scooper again. And we were able to win that race last year. And then we're going to go to Seattle for during the Western Swing. They don't run us at Denver or Sonoma, so we won't beat either of those. But then we'll go to Topeka, Brainerd, Indy. I think we're going to hit Charlotte. We were looking at Charlotte as one of the races through my career that I haven't won at. I've made a couple attempts there and haven't won. So we're like, if we could possibly win Brainerd and we could possibly win Indy, which obviously Brainerd's a big deal to us with the crash and stuff there. But if we could possibly win those two races would, I believe, put us winning at every national event racetrack we've been to and most of the divisional racetracks. So it's pretty cool, but been doing it a lot of years. So
yeah. Racers don't keep track of that stuff, folks. No way. I think that's great. That'd be a great accomplishment. And yeah, the Brainerd deal. Of course, you want to go back there and, get a Wally and make that just a page in a chapter of your career. But it's already just a page in a chapter because you guys came back and you won the world championship, which was just amazing. And now that I hear you list your schedule, Doug, that is a condensed schedule. That's you're going to be on the tour. The Bandamere deal, man, so sad. And this is a good news show, but sometimes there's bad news wrapped in the good news. The good news, I guess, is that we get to have this final blowout party. You get to go to the, regional, and we'll be headed to the national not long after. Obviously the bad news is we're going there for the final time, but there have been cases in the past where we never get to say goodbye. It's just a really tough deal. I agree with you. I love that facility.
Yeah, it's honestly, they just put on such a good show there. And even, when the times were tough in the 2020, they were able to, figure out how to make things happen. And, so they just one of those racetracks that have always been so good to the racers and, figured out how to do what's best. And it's funny, each year we end up with like a little gift from them at the end of the year. We've had a blanket there, that towel that we have. It's got the drag racing, with the American flag on it and stuff. They're just good people that, make you want to come back.
They know how to do it right. They do. They know how to do it right. John, of course, and Sporty and Tammy and everybody there, they should do like consulting for everybody else. Like, this is how you become part of your community and make people love you, right? Like how to win friends and influence people. What about that big 4-wide win, right? Historic. The event, we, mentioned Smoke a couple of times. Just don't want to shortchange on that, Doug, because Doug is always like, how do I get back on WFO? Which I really like, by the way. I like it, Doug, because I get in a groove sometimes and I want to mix it up and I want to make sure that we cover the Lucas Oil Series as best as we can in the time that we have. And when you say that, it sticks with me and I appreciate it. And Bellamere, he wins a ton of races too. He's awesome. And, easy to get on the show. You want to be on? Boom, on the show, which is great. Plus the Maddi story. So just tell us a little bit about that Vegas day. That was huge. I remember, watching the fam on the starting line as you won. We did the interview. But not a bad little start.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Last year we went to Vegas and were able to win all 4 races at Vegas, which was, amazing. And then this year, we go back there for the 4-wide. And I believe that they've ran the 4-wide there 3 times in alcohol cars. I know we won the first time, and I believe that we've actually been able to sweep the 4-wide at Vegas, which was, pretty amazing. So, but it was, it's the competition is getting so tough. I'm still bummed about the car counts being a little lower than we want and stuff. But the cars that are out there nowadays are just so phenomenal. It's just every round is difficult. I would say whether it's Jake Guadagnolo or Ulf Leanders or Brian Haug he's really come on strong this year. Then you got, when we start heading around, you got Magash and you got Sean, which is going to be everywhere as a battle. Also got news that Shane Westerfield's going to be back at Denver, going to run a few races to finish the year off. So that's going to add stuff. But the 4-wide deal, I love it. It's a different atmosphere. It's just different. Like I say, I've been driving the car for 30 years and, so it's just cool to do, just different stuff. And so I like it. It's fun. And was actually able to have a good light in the final, which makes me happy. But and get the win is just amazing. But I say Tony Stewart winning, that needs to be the highlight, and it really is a great thing for drag racing. I'm stoked at all the promotion stuff he does for us and everybody, and it's helping everything out.
It really is. It really is. You know, and I want to kind of go down the road a little bit of the car count and get your take, because, you know, all right, Maddi is like, she's getting into this, right? She needs people to race against. There needs to be more alcohol funny cars. What the heck is up with that? But let's answer a question from the voice, Sammy Eubanks, who is out there. Like, is Doug done driving? Like, what's up with that, Doug? Are you going to permanently step aside? Are you going to temporarily step aside? Is there a 2-car team in the future at some point eventually? Because you have 2 daughters. So what does it look like for you? Or is this it? Is this the end of the line for Doug as the driver this year? Ask Sam.
Well, it's to some extent, but it's funny. We bought the girls a Supercom dragster here a year or two ago, two years ago. And I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit. And then at the end of last year, I'm like, we should have another one for both the girls. And then Christina is like, you know what? And then maybe you'll drive it when you get done, the funny car stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, maybe I'll do that. So then we ended up going on this year and stuff. And I said something about Maddi driving the dragster here, there. And Christina's like, you know what? She's like, I didn't say it's okay to buy that dragster. I said it was okay to buy the dragster because you're going to drive it. I'm like, okay. So the plan actually is Macy's. We set Macy's up to a top dragster. So Macy's going to have a top dragster deal, and then the other dragster that Maddi's driving now, when she takes over the funny car, then I'm going to start learning how to do some wheel racing and do some Supercom stuff. So it won't be at the national events where we're in the funny car because we have to focus on the funny car when we're there, but we'll run bracket races and local divisional races and that kind of stuff with it.
That's great. Well, okay. So Tony Stewart doing a great thing for the Lucas Oil categories by constantly talking about those categories as a rung of the ladder beneath Top Fuel, but still incredibly fast, incredibly difficult, and worth talking about. And here you are, a multi-time top alcohol funny car world champ, and you're excited like, I'm going to get into super comp and run 890s at probably 190 miles an hour. But that's a different story. That's, I think, a great endorsement for what happens at NHRA national events. Like, you happen to be running alcohol funny car and it's competitive, but we could go to any class and find that same level of competition and competitiveness. To me, that's awesome. And that's why people go to the races.
No, it is. I mean, it's at the end of the day, to me, it's about competition. I want to win. I want to figure out how to be better than the other guy and stuff. And I mean, alcohol funny car is a great class because it's something that a whole team can figure out together how to be the best. It takes every portion up to figure out how to be the best driver, how to make the car be the fastest car out there, and how to, and to be successful, you got to have a whole team that pulls it together. In the Supercom stuff, it takes a team, but it takes a lot more of a driver. I think it's a lot more of being the driver being good off the starting line, the driver being able to wheel race best and stuff. But it takes strategies and stuff by a team to some extent, but it's more of a driver area. Like I say, where I think that the funny car stuff is more of a team deal. And like I say, that's where our old team has done well, but I'm looking forward to getting out there and giving it a go. And like I say, but one of my funnest victories ever was a golf cart race at Woodburn. So it's like, it's just, whether it's just racing. I like racing, so whatever it is, I want to race. And
golf cart races are awesome. I love golf cart races. I only participated in one, and I was like, "Oh man, this is as fun, maybe more fun than the regular stuff." Right? There's very low commitment, but you're doing the same thing. Dragster Jeff is out there. Says Krista and I race with the girls at Famoso. Says hi to you guys. That's Jeff Kreider. They got multiple cars. Got the Wonder Wagon. That is a very unique car out there. Lauren saying, I can't wait to see Maddi Gordon get her license. What gets achieved in NHRA Top Alcohol Funny Car in 2024? Right, exactly. Like, when is that your plan, Maddi? 2024 run schedule, run points, run a race. Like, assuming everything goes smoothly.
Yes.
What are you doing in 24?
Yeah, I get my license sometime this year, and then start totally racing as like the same schedule as if it was dad racing, but I'll just be in the driver's seat next year.
Nice. All right, how do we get more cars, Doug? Solve the problem. Go.
Yeah, I've been working on trying to solve this problem for a while. I've been talking with people and working on it a lot. I really hope that the A-Fuel deal starts to bring some more people. I'd like to see Mick Steele out there, doing stuff with his car. That was pretty cool. We got Julian Natas and their stuff, kind of experimenting. I know that Bellemere and Bartone stuff, they got their car they're going to start experimenting with. There's a couple of other cars up north that are, possibly going to get going. But as you can see in the dragsters, I mean, the A-Fuel thing is kind of, the bigger majority of them and stuff. I think that they have the potential of running for a less expensive amount of money to run the operation. So I think that possibly has an advantage, is appealing. So I hope that once we get some cars out there like Mick Steele and stuff to get the car down the track and start hopefully being competitive with it, and the rules packages worked around to make them competitive, that it'll start enticing other people to, jump in there and do the same.
But the traditional alcohol combination that you run, that Bellemere runs, that, Joey Severance, like the spinning it up on the starting line and swapping feet and shifting gears and all that craziness, like that's alcohol funny car racing. And I love what Mick is doing too. And I love the car counts in top alcohol dragster. And so I get it. People want to burn nitro. It might be less expensive, sure, but people also like the idea of burning nitro. Like, what do you do? I burn nitro. It sounds cool. But I just don't want to ever lose what we've got with your cars, because that is something totally unique in drag racing, the sound of the car when you leave the starting line. And Maddi, maybe talk a little bit about that moment, bringing the RPMs way up. I know 2-stops are allowed this year. I don't know what you guys have done with that, if anything, Doug, what your training are on, but that 8,000 RPM on the starting line moment is dramatic. And everybody that I know that is a diehard in the sport loves that moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've revved it up quite a few times in the pit, but it's definitely a lot different feel when you're on the racetrack. Body's down, you're knowing when I hit the gas, I'm going to go really fast. But so, Papa always does like the signature fist pump and everything. So on the first run, when he told me, put your visor down and give me fist pump, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Okay. And then, I bumped it in the pre-stage and I kind of took a little extra second before I revved it up. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But so it's definitely a surreal feeling. I mean, I've revved up, my junior comp and that, but it's nothing compared to the funny car. And it's, you've got this big old screaming engine right in front of you. At like, I was doing it like, around like 6,000, 7,000. But it was, you got this big engine screaming right in front of you, and it's definitely surreal. It's really cool to say the least. Wow.
Yeah. Your dad was the first person, I sat in an alcohol funny car, however long ago that was, Doug. And I always appreciate that, because that's an experience. It's an experience. And then it's like, yeah, this is cool. Sitting in a funny car. All right. He's like, let's lower the body on you. I'm like, oh, okay. And different experience right there. Like, he knew that he was going to get me. Who knew that I was claustrophobic until that moment? But which, when I got the MRI a couple of years later, it all came back out. But that is a heck of an experience. Like, okay, bye, kid, you're in there. And you're in there. The body is down. They're all around, but you're kind of on your own, Maddi. Explain that.
Yeah, it was, everybody kind of told me when you lower the body, everything gets calmer. And I'm like, how is that happening? Like, how does it get calmer when you're about to go 275? But it was really kind of unbelievable. Like, when I'm sitting in the pits revving it up, and I'm sitting there, I can just see, you can see the motor, you can see everything right in front of you. But like, when you're on the starting line and they fire the car and they lower the body down, it's so weird to say, but it really just makes everything calmer. Like, it just everything gets a little bit quieter. You just have the dash in front of you. And, of course it's, there's a body all around you, but surprisingly, I'm not super claustrophobic really, but it honestly just makes everything calmer. And it's like nothing I've ever experienced before, but it's weird, just that makes it calmer.
That's awesome. That's okay. So let's talk aspirations, because like the family racing team, and we're going to run alcohol cars forever. But who knows what you're going to do, right? Like you're going to love it, I would imagine. But not only that, like everybody is always trying to pull every young racer up into the Camping World Series because we need cars and great personalities there. What is your ultimate aspiration, Maddi, to race, to run with a family and have great success like your dad? Would you like to go faster? Do you ever like think, man, maybe Top Fuel or Funny Car? That could be cool too if this goes well. How high of an aspiration do you have within the sport?
I've never, I've thought about Top Fuel and things like that, but not, just for me personally, I've never wanted to really go into Top Fuel or anything like that, just because, then at this rank in the Funny Car, it's a lot of pressure. Definitely, it's definitely really serious, but we race as a family, and it's nothing that, you could ever get going to the fuel rings. And, there's really nothing like flying to, Ohio or something, and you're on the plane with your dad, your mom, your sister, and your grandma, and then you get there and you meet your papa, and you're going to race the whole weekend with your family. So it's nothing that, in my opinion, could ever be, replaced. And I personally would, choose, the Funny Car race with my family over anything else. It's something that I've truly dreamed about my whole entire life. I never thought it really happened because, that's just crazy.
Right.
But I really dreamed about it my whole life, and this is truly where I've always wanted to be.
That is awesome. No, I love hearing it. I love hearing your enthusiasm, and we're ticking through some photographs, of course, and just amazing to hear you do that. Doug, are we going to see some nostalgia bodies on Alcohol Funny Cars ever? I just, I love that 77, 78 Trans Am body, but I also know that the Camaros that you guys have are like a work of aerodynamic artwork. They're amazing. And, I don't want to say you have to have one because, Kyle doesn't have one. He won a couple of races with that Mustang body. But what's your take on the bodies? I know that's part of the new rule. Will we see any ever?
I don't think so, unless they allow the nostalgia funny cars to maybe incorporate into the alcohol funny cars someday. That might happen. But I think more of where they were trying to go with that was to not exclude some of the guys that right now that just have bodies that are just too old to meet the rules. So it allows some of the guys, some of the local racers to just run their 1996 Pontiac or whatever that maybe wasn't allowed, in the new rules, in the old rules package. So I just don't see anybody, probably doing that, but you never know. I don't really, not to say I'm an expert on it, but I don't see it happening unless
they want to win. Which is basically what we're talking about. You guys don't have a lot of drag on that thing, but man, I would love to see it. And hey, maybe the nostalgia thing, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah. I trust a lot in NHRA. They are they've done a good job, everything what they've done with drag racing and stuff. So I trust their opinions and their stuff. And I work with them trying to come up with ideas and stuff. But I think that they'll make the right moves and stuff to get the funny car class back where it needs to be. Look at Pro Stock a few years ago, and it struggled and stuff, and they made moves and didn't seem right. People didn't like a lot of them and stuff, but look at Pro Stock today. It's a really good class now. So I think that they'll do the same with funny cars.
Exactly. And you keep showing up, and Maddi and Macy and the whole fam out there, and we love the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing, and it's awesome to watch. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I see Justin is down there. He's out at Bristol Dragway Media Day. Thank you guys for coming on WFO, and it definitely won't be the last time, Maddi. Like, keep us up on it. And so we can, once you're, licensed and you go through the stripe at 270 or something like that, I want to hear your enthusiasm after that.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much for having us. Super, super stoked to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. It's going by fast this year.
Yep. Sounds good. See you in Norwalk. Thank you.
Right. There he goes. Doug Gordon, Maddi Gordon. And how about that? Appreciate everybody for sharing the show. Fresh young star. Wow. You know what I kept thinking? And this is terrible because you shouldn't compare, but it's more of a addition, right? Like Krista Baldwin level enthusiasm is what we've got. Like, can Krista be rivaled with her enthusiasm? Like, yeah, obviously, Maddi Gordon loving what she's doing and what do they have in common? You know, multi-generational drag racing families who they see all the beauty and the love into it. Speaking of multi-generational drag racing families, this guy's walking around. I'm trying to like figure out, is he going to get positioned? What's he doing? Is he looking for a base camp? What is he doing? And he's out there at Media Day. Justin Ashley. What's up, Justin?
What's up, Joe? I'm walking around trying to make sure that I have service so I can talk to you. I appreciate you having me on. We're here at Bristol Dragway today. There's some celebrity drag challenges going on. So they're promoting the Thunder Valley Nationals, and they have the media in Toyota Camrys and a few other cars racing against each other. So here hanging out, having a good time.
Are you going to race somebody? Are you like the big, the top of the pyramid for the media person to race at the end?
So I haven't been told yet. I'm kind of waiting for the word. I wouldn't mind the opportunity to do that. I think it's more about the media members having a good time. Elon Werner, though, of Werner Communications, did participate in race. It was a 22-car field. You can hear all the noise in the background. Everyone's loving it. And he ended up getting down to the final 8 cars, Elon. So I think he did a respectable job.
Yeah. So. Come on, Elon. You've been around racing. He's big, though. He's carrying a little extra weight, I think, is the problem.
I think it might be. But we won't tell him. I think he did good. He held his own. He was playing some starting line games up there, flickering the bulb, and it was definitely an experienced effort. That much I can tell you.
Nice. All right. So you're out there, Thunder Valley Nationals next week, New England Nationals this week. I understand, like, if you got to run or they like call you to make a run or something, just go get in the car with your phone and we'll ride with you. And we'll let you go. But Maynard Ashley Racing, talk about that. Jim Epler's part of the ownership group now. Like, you guys formed a new ownership group, and then that group kind of partnered with Joe Maynard in a deal that is totally independent from Tony Schumacher, as I understand. And I've done a lot of reading, and I've heard a lot of people kind of maybe confuse some things. So give us like the simplest what's going on.
Yeah, so I appreciate the platform to be able to talk about it, because you're right. Since we made the announcement about Maynard Ashley Racing, there's been a lot of questions. And basically the way it works is, you know, there's the stuff that happens on the racetrack and there's the stuff that happens off the racetrack. Obviously what happens on the racetrack is the performance side, the side that everybody sees. And on the racetrack, everything is staying exactly the same. Our relationship with Toyota, our relationship with Antron Brown, our teammate, the way we operate on a day-to-day basis stays exactly the same. We are independent of what's happening with Tony Schumacher and what's happening with Tim Wilkerson. And I have so much respect for those guys, and not only what they're doing in NHRA drag racing, but the type of guys that those two individuals are. So it is completely independent of that. We have our group, which is myself, Dustin Davis, and Jim Epler, and we've partnered with Joe and Kathy Maynard, Joe Jr., Eric Lehman and his family, and the Maynard JCM Racing sign to form one big conglomerate. And really what you're going to see is the most impact in the stuff that happens off the track, which is everything from payroll to parts acquisition to expanded resources, things like that are really going to help us expand the program and grow it to where we want to really deliver world-class results both on and off the racetrack. So it's in conjunction with each other. And I have so much gratitude for Joe and Kathy Maynard and putting their trust in us to be able to partner with them. They're both veterans. Joe Jr. is a veteran, and that is so important. And just a lot of really great things to come. So everything's going to continue to operate as normal. We're just coming together as one huge conglomerate, and there's a lot of exciting things ahead.
That's great. Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. But just to not to put too fine a point on it, but it's not like Mike Green and Tommy D are going to go down there and talk to Neff and they're going to like exchange information. There are silos that is walled off. But when it comes to like, we got to buy 10 blocks, it's better to buy 10 than it is to buy 3. And so you guys will come up with some efficiencies in that area.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. You hit it on the head. You know, we get a lot of, you know, we share data and information with Antron. That's our teammate. That's what we do. We also get a lot of information from Toyota. That stuff stays in-house. It cannot and it won't go outside of our pit area and outside of Antron Brown's pit area. So there is a dividing line in the sand. But in terms of, parts acquisition and when we're buying blocks, when you buy things and more of things, obviously the pricing is better. That's a great example of it. Also, the expanded business-to-business opportunities. The Maynards have great partners over there. And there's expanded business-to-business opportunities potentially when you get some of our partners on the Phillips Connect side with some of their partners on their side and just get people talking. Business things generally happen. So we like the idea of putting those two parties together as well.
That's great. No, and thank you for explaining. And I think it's been very educational, not only for me, but everybody watching. Hopefully they share so that everyone can learn exactly what's going on with this deal. But also I did hear like there was a bit of a twinkle in the eye of Mr. Epler when I talked to him out there in Chicago, just about, first of all, he's back as an owner, right? You pulled him back in just when he thought he was out. You pulled him back in. But also like, we're going to try to do some really cool things at the pit. He did not elaborate, but it sounds like you're thinking about how to elevate the experience even more.
Yeah, we are. It's really nice to have Jim Epler. Obviously, he's the executive vice president of Phillips Connect, and he, along with Amber White and Rob Phillips, are responsible for bringing Phillips Connect into NHRA drag racing and into motorsports. He obviously has an extensive background, Mr. 300. He owned Kristen Powell's Top Fuel Dragster. So to have him, as an owner, as a part of our ownership group, it's an honor. And I'm grateful for Jim to have us, as a part of it. And yeah, he's creative. He is really the one who's responsible for creating the whole hospitality concept and how it relates to generating business for sponsors. So he's got a lot of really exciting ideas that will start to roll out this year. And I think you'll really see a significant adjustment in 2024 and beyond with Jim's involvement.
Okay, let's talk performance. No other way to say it. Up and down. Couple of wins, couple of round one outs. What's your take? I would take that. Yeah. That's not bad. You went 2 races, 6 races in. That's really great. You're going good. But at the same time, look at this guy. He's getting me. He's telling me I got to run.
Can I carry the torch for a couple minutes so he can go do trophy presentations for the media day?
Yeah, go do it.
All right. Joe, thanks for having me on if I don't make it back. But, you know what? I better run. Go Phillips Connect. Go Team Toyota. Go WFO.
Thank you very much, Justin.
Here we go. I'll get it in the background. So they had a great media day today.
Yes.
So I actually got to race.
I heard 8 cars.
Yeah, made it to 8.
Congratulations.
From the 21 seed that was randomly drawn.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Werner, by the way, Werner Communications, one of the great, slightly behind the scenes characters in the NHRA, but not really, not as much anymore.
Right.
Now, I just asked Justin a very hard-hitting and tough question, Elon.
Okay.
And then you parachute out of the sky to was that planned? Or come on now.
Say it again.
Exactly. See this guy? He's making stuff up. I talked about the up and down season with Justin. He's got a couple of wins, but he's got a couple of round one outs. What are we doing about that? And then here Elon comes to break it all up.
Right. So no, we've got, this season's a marathon, not a sprint. Take it one day at a time. Good Lord willing, we're just going to hit all the cliches. So no,
happy to help the team. I watched Bull Durham over the weekend.
Justin is battling through the 4 wides, and I think that was not the best way to kind of build momentum. So that's an odd format for him that he's getting better at. But now that you're seeing kind of back to the traditional style of racing, you're going to see the Justin Ashley that started dominating last year at Bristol. I think Epping was a good race for him. Bristol, he won, and then you saw just a string of semifinal races over the summer, and then that led right into the countdown, and then multiple wins in the countdown last year.
Excellent. No, great stuff. Why don't you show us around? Tell us about Bristol. Take over.
Yeah. So this is the media day. So they had 21 media people that were here, and they're getting all their trophies. Anthony Vessel put together an amazing event, and their social media team said all the media here, and then they had a full slate of vehicles. Everything from, they had a couple Chevys, they had a couple Camrys, they had a couple Dodges, so you got to choose your poison. Had them all logoed up, and everyone just kind of got to make a run.
And finally, the most coveted one, slowest speed, Alan Gregory, 77 miles per hour.
They give awards for best reaction time, fastest speed, slowest speed, winner, runner-up. And there was one other award. There's a trophy up there that says Thunder Valley Cup that we're not really sure what that is for. But they had a nice lunch, interviews. There's going to be more interviews after lunch. So they do it right here at Bristol, like so many SMI tracks. This has really been a pretty amazing day.
That's great. I just want to show you this. Okay, check this out. Bam. Do you see
Look at
this? Quickest reaction time, Thunder Valley Media Day, a couple of years ago. I was in there, 2019, pre-pandemic, me and Austin Prock battling it out. I was trip zip, absolutely perfect. It's here in the WFO studio.
So I won in my race. I won the first round on a hole shot because, again, if you're Justin Ashley's PR guy, you better not be late on the tree.
Yeah, 30
the
years.
Second round, I was racing there's a NASCAR truck crew chief here that I, again, wanted to represent NHRA versus NASCAR. And I knew he probably would have a pretty good idea of how racing worked. So he staged up really quickly. And then I pre-staged. And then I crept in and may or may not have flickered the light on him and he red lit.
Good job, Elon.
It's all about defending the NHRA. So
Yes.
Here comes Justin right back here.
All right.
On cue. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Elon.
Hey, Joe, sorry about that.
No, that was great. We had planned for maybe you'd come back, maybe you would not come back. Elon just did a great job. He was singing his own praises, of course, but I showed him my great Thunder Valley Best Reaction Time Award that I received from a couple of years ago. But all right, let's preview New England. Let's do that because it's a great track, kind of a different situation than Route 66, where we had tens of thousands of people. It's a more intimate setting. You did well there last year. What's it like going up there? You're a Northeasterner.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you said it. I'm a Northeasterner. For us, aside from Maple Grove, that's my home racetrack. But it's a blast because the place is always packed, and it has a little bit of a nostalgic feel to it. It's a little bit of a smaller venue, but I think that's part of what makes it so significant and so special. So we absolutely love racing in Epping. The fans always pack the place out. And not only that, but they're super engaged and excited to be there. So it's definitely a race that we look forward to going to. And there's been a lot of talk about it being a shorter field. I think there's 13 top fuel cars, but from our perspective, it makes it that much harder. If you don't qualify in the top 1 or 2 and get a bye, I mean, look at your first round matchups. It's 13 heavy hitters out there. So make no mistake about it. I know it's a small field, but the competition is going to be really, really tough.
Thank you for addressing that and going right into the, it's an unfortunate situation, but really is it? It's the 13 best top fuel dragsters on the planet battling it out. Yeah, there's going to be some bye runs, some qualifying. Like if you can qualify in the right place, you might get one. You got to beat the best to be the best. And the race is about the people who are there, not the people who aren't there. It's no offense to anyone. I understand it's difficult to go into the Northeast. There's hundreds of millions of people there, or at least 100.
It is. It's tough. It's difficult, right? We don't go to the Northeast that much. And there's a lot of people Friday, Saturday, and Sunday throughout the weekend. And look, I understand there's short fields. It's not great. It's not what we want to see, but we adjust to it. And 13 really heavy hitters, and in funny car, I'm sure it's 15 or so really heavy hitters. So there's no escaping any race you go to, but especially on Sunday, you're going to have a lot of really good rounds of racing just to give yourselves a chance to win.
All right, I know you got to go. We got 2 quick questions for you, though. Steven wants to know, are you going to offer hospitality at a fee for race fans at any races? Because he wants to come hang out in your hospitality.
Yes, Steven. So we actually do. So we offer them. There's some tracks that we're not allowed to offer them at. I don't know specifically off the top of my head, but the majority of the races, we do offer hospitality for the fans. And when we're in there, we actually really try and make sure to take care of them because we appreciate you and we appreciate what the fans do. So if you go on justinashley.com, you can click on the pit side experience area, and that's where you can purchase tickets to our hospitality area.
All right, I think I know the answer to this one, but let you answer it anyway. Lauren wants to know, what is one thing that you still want to get achieved this season, Justin?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lauren. Obviously, the championship always comes to mind. There's a few different things: winning the World Championship, winning Indianapolis. But for us, we want to be the first to go 300 miles per hour to the 8th mile. Phillips Connect has the 300 to the 8th club, and Jim Epler, their executive VP, was the first to go 300 in a funny car to the quarter mile. So to be able to actually go that fast on behalf of Phillips Industries and Phillips Connect to the 8th mile now, and to be able to be the first one to do that would mean a lot to our team. So obviously the championship, winning Indy, and being the first to go 300 to the 8th are all really up there high on our to-do list this year.
Excellent. Do you have someplace circled on the calendar as in, is that might be possible? It's starting to heat up. I'm just wondering when that could be possible in the summer.
Yeah, so there's 2 really that come to mind. I think when you think about the summertime, you think about Friday night in Sonoma. that's generally the run. That's the throwdown run. That's where if you want to go out there and run fast, that's the time to do it. There's only 3 qualifying sessions, so you really want to make sure you go up and down the racetrack. But Friday night in Sonoma is going to be a great opportunity. And I think all weekend as we get into the fall in Maple Grove in Pennsylvania. Maple Grove is always really fast. We appreciate what the Koretsky's have done with that racetrack and all the fans that show up there. So I think Sonoma and Maple Grove amongst the others, but those are the 2 that definitely stand out.
Justin, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to the live media, folks. We can catch up in the future. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate it. Say hi to Anthony Vestal and all the folks at Bristol. We'll be there next week, right? We're doing a little back-to-back. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you in a few days. But thanks for making the time for WFO.
Always. Thank you, Joe. Have a good day.
All right. Later, Justin. Justin Ashley with us here on WFO Radio. And now you know. Maynard Ashley Racing and what they're doing, and they're coming up with a lot of stuff. And it not only it stabilizes, but it makes things, you're buying in bulk and many other layers other than that. And the Gordon family as well. Your comments in the comment section, please. Like, what do you think? First of all, Maddi Gordon, Doug Gordon, these are great people. And I tell the story all the time, obviously, about starting Hartford's Pro Stock car, which was amazing and on video, and you can go find that. It was I was blown away. And some people thought it was contrived, but it really wasn't. And Doug putting the body down. No one was there for that. That was just, me and Doug, and I believe Nate Hershey was there. And I think it was Nate that kind of initiated the deal. Amazing experiences to take that and move forward with it and think about being on the starting line and revving it up. Just amazing experience. Let's see what people have to say out there, though. Get your comments in the comment section. Then I'm going to tell you about something that is going down in Bristol a week from tomorrow, that if you're going to the race, I would like you to maybe participate in. So think about it. If you're going to be in Bristol, if you're going to Bristol, the Thursday before the race, 3:15-ish, 3 o'clock hour is when it's going to go down. I'll tell you what it is momentarily. But first, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible, like Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. July 24th, 25th, 26th, they're going to be at Bandimere. We already heard this is the last year of Bandimere. 866-480-7223. This is going to sell out. For all I know, it has already sold out. But I want to keep talking about it. I want the phone to keep ringing. I want them to add another day. Maybe they could add another day. Maybe they could do whatever they want to do, right? If the demand is there. But this is your chance to get licensed at Bandimere. If you're in the area and you just want to get licensed in a convenient way, that's great. But the Dragster Adventure for race fans of all kinds, not only your chance to drive a dragster, but to drive a dragster at a track that will soon no longer be available to you. It's, for half the price of a Formula One ticket to Miami. It's like amazing. You get a half-day experience, runs down the racetrack. They can even set up a race. Call them, 866-480-7223. That's frankhawley.com. Really appreciate those guys, what they got going on, and been a longtime sponsor of WFO, as has Marvin Rodak. 817-924-6821. I'm on the Rodax coffee today. Really enjoying it. And you can too. Hot sauce, spice rub, everything good. Grills, tools, tips, information. He's going to be down there at the Stampede of Speed, where is his home track, because he's located in Fort Worth. Call Marvin. If you're in the area, swing by and check out the shop and watch him roast some coffee fresh for your order. I mean, I don't know if he'll do that for you, but I think he will. He puts the beans in, you make the order, and they come to you totally fresh. And yes, it makes a difference. 817-924-6821. And then there's the folks at Samtech. Samtech.edu. I was looking up, doing some research on Dan Tim, who is our Hidden Horsepower guest upcoming. And there was a story about Dan doing a presentation at the AETC conference. And Judson Massengill was there also. And I think about Judd and what he did for machining by creating this school that so many go to. And, do you have to go? You don't have to, but it's going to give you such a leg up on the competition. You're working with racers, and the curriculum are race cars. So you're in the trial by fire right from the jump. So go to samtech.edu, call Brian Massengill, tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio if you're interested. They are approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, engine block programs, cylinder head programs, motorsport EFI tuning, CNC programming. You can go in a lot of different directions other than being a racer or crew chief, but a lot of people do choose to go that way. samtech.edu. And finally, our Patreons. If you join for a season, you get a t-shirt in addition to the stickers and the patches and all of that stuff. But it's not about that. It's about being a part of the backstage pass for WFO, being part of the WFO community. And it's been amazing. All the different people who are popping up on the Ignition show as co-hosts, they enable their camera. They're part of the Ignition show. If you listen to Ignition, you hear it's Patreon co-hosts, and it's kind of a rotating. We've got our regulars, but we've got our, newbies that pop in and pop out. We've got celebrity racers that are on there. Michael Heiner, crew chief for the Get Biofuel car. He does a pro stock show. Hear it from Heiner, where we pepper him with questions about pro stock, just peppering him with questions, and he answers them all. He gave us insight to his car without revealing like top secret details, but also the competition, the category. If you're a fan of pro stock, like this is must see. It's not TV, but it's must see video for the fan of pro stock. Hear it from Heiner, and you get it by just being a Patreon of WFO. Rat Torno is a Patreon. There's a lot of like racers who have signed on to become Patreons as a way of helping out WFO Radio. I don't even know if they use the backstage pass, but we're trying to sweeten the deal. Project Pontiac is evolving. We got our engine block. We're working on new things. I got my motor plate, mid plate. Things are coming together. Those stories are getting ready to drop. And of course, Monica has done a great job letting everybody know that the WFO gear is on sale right now. Go to the WFO store. The link is in the chat section right now, and everything is like 30% off. 30%. Why would you not do that? All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. Yeah, I know, I'm pitching a lot of stuff. It's drag racing, folks. Everybody's pitching. Joe, when are you going to do a show with Too Fast, Too Tasty winners? Wow, Jeremy, that's a good question. Probably on accident when, we just did one with Justin Ashley, because when they win the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty and also win the event, we have them on. Our problem is that we just don't have enough time to capture all the winners. We've got 4 Camping World Series winner, Pro Stock Motorcycle, Pro Stock, Funny Car, Top Fuel, Pro Mod. I want to get some Pro Mod racers in. We just got Doug Gordon in from Vegas. The Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty. I don't know. But then again, we had Gage. Gage was on. We did not have Alexis, who won the first one, but we had Hartford on. So it all depends. We're working as best as we can, but we're going to try to do as much as we can. There's just so much to do. Let's see. Encourage them to build another facility in the Denver area. They're already on that. I have spoken with, and Tammy's going to come on the show, and I've spoken with the family, and they are investigating that. I have been told that. They're investigating it. My hopes are not up because it's such a massive undertaking. It's a massive undertaking. And there are people who, when they really make it big, they continue to work as if they never did. I don't know that I am one of those people. And I think if someone wrote me a massive check for something I owned, I don't know that diving right back into work would be the first thing that I did. So I kind of put myself into that situation, and I wonder how they're going to handle it. But the community, Morrison over there and Golden, what's going to happen? Morrison, it's got some tourism there. They got Red Rocks. They got all that. But I really think that the next Denver facility can't possibly recreate the uniqueness of this one. And so whatever they build, whatever gets built, wherever it gets built, and there's a great community of racers there. That where are they going to go? What's the next closest track? Is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? Like, I don't even know the answer to that. Jeff Shockey would know. If he's out there, he should say, like, what's the next closest track? This guy, Jeff, he lives 10 minutes from the track, as racers tend to do. And so what will happen? And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. What's the closest they can build a track? Will they build it, out by the airport? Let me tell you, out by the airport, the wind is whipping out by the airport. And wind can be a problem for drag racing. Like, you want to get winded out there? I don't know. So we'll see. Lauren says, going to miss you next weekend. Steve and I are headed to Norwalk for the Cavalcade of Stars. All right, Lauren, have fun out there. You're going to a drag strip. That's what matters. Justin answered my question before I even got to ask it. Good, Derek. That means we're doing a good job. That means I'm doing a good job asking the questions, and he's doing a good job creating the answers. Lauren goes, when do you think Brittany Forrest gets her first NHRA Top Fuel Dragster win this year? Good question. Whenever David Grubnick, see, I don't know. I don't know if I fully believe that he can just flip a switch and go back to winning whenever he wants. People have said that. They're off experimenting. He's working on a new tune-up. He's trying to figure out the next layer to how to become dominant again. And they're not there just yet. Can they just go back to the old tune-up and start winning again? Like, maybe they can, or maybe they can't. What's up with the competition? They've certainly had a lot to say with it. But Brittany is driving very well. The races that she has lost, she's lost some to Austin Prock, has been a thorn in her side a little bit. But I definitely agree it's important for a champion like Brittany Force to arrive in the season following her championship. Matt Hagan, years ago, won that first championship, and then, here's a star, and then didn't have a great year afterwards. When you win a championship, rhetorically, as all champions out there, I think it's important for the champion to get a win early. Why? For the story, for the telling of the story. The champ has arrived. The champ is there. Torrence used to always, come out of the box, get a win relatively early to avoid all those questions, to avoid any questions like this one. Like, when do you think Brittany's going to get? Here we are, 6 races, about to be 7 races in. When do you think Brittany's going to get a win? When do you start asking questions? And I know a lot was made about Torrence last year, and maybe it was overdone, perhaps. But he didn't win the championship. They didn't win their 5th championship. Like, that didn't happen. So the story was in many ways in line with what ultimately ended up happening. Like, the streak ended at 4. One of the greatest streaks of all time, by the way. Congratulations, Capco. And you can't, you got to talk about it at some point, and I guess when it ends. But it would be good strategically to go out there and get a win, and not just, and then again, they could win 6 races in the countdown. What the heck does I know? Great show today. Have fun in Epping. Yeah, I'm going to have a great time. It's going to be great. Mr. Ant Dog. What's up, Ant Dog? BMX racer. Always putting WFO on his plate, out there telling all his friends about WFO. Mr. Ant Dog does a great job. I pay a lot more attention to the alcohol cars. Love the alcohol cars, guys. Love them. Love them. They are awesome. I know the greatest challenge of NHRA drag racing is picking when you're going to go down to the Nitro Mall and buy some food and get a shirt, because there's great stuff on the track at every moment that I can make a great argument as to why you should stay and sit there. But the alcohol cars, in particular, the alcohol funny cars, like, we need a movement in drag racing to shore up the alcohol funny cars in particular, because they are awesome. You got these great characters like Sean Bellemere with Tony Bartone. They got a Jolly Roger on there. They're a bunch of pirates. They're out there pillaging that category. And then you've got the exact opposite, like Team Estrogen, Maddie and Macy and Christina and Doug and everybody over there. Like, it's a family, and they're kicking the pirates' butt. What? It's such a great class and the Leanders brothers, and 9,000 RPM on the starting line, and you're shifting gears, and they're so cool. They only go 270 miles an hour. Right. Only. We need to help out Alcohol Funny Car. And what's the way to help them? Stay in the grandstands, go to the pits, cheer them on. And if you know anyone with an Alcohol Funny Car, you're like an insider, like get out there to the races. Get out there. Chris Bishop, great guest today, Joe. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, sir. I will see you in the media center, hopefully. This guy, Racing Pro Media, man. So I run the media center at the races. Maybe I overstated. I help out in the media center at the conclusion of the races, and I'm the guy asking the questions, or at very least, leading the conversation, right? A couple questions by me, and then we go around the room with the people who are there covering the sport. This guy's at every freaking race. He's always got a question. He's always doing a good job for the sport. We need that. We need that. We need media. We need more media. We need media. We need more media. We need good media. We need media that asks a good question, that's there, not just to watch other people ask questions, that are thinking about the sport. Like, this is a bit of a pet peeve of mine now that I've done this, but it doesn't need to come on to WFO because this is my media. And I feel like I ask some tough questions. And then Elin pops in and takes away Justin. Justin equals the future of the sport. Absolutely. Justin and Mike Ashley, no joke. They are trying to, Justin is obviously a very sharp kid and could be doing a lot of different stuff. He could be doing a lot of different stuff. A lot of people's hobbies or competitive endeavors don't require millions of dollars. There are a lot of people who play racquetball and they're pretty happy doing it. Racquetball. They go out there, they compete. Pickleball is a thing. What is it? I don't even know. Hear pickleball all over the place. Everybody's talking pickleball. Every advertisement, pickleball. Everybody, pickleball. It's what the heck is pickleball? Where did it come from? Who started it? Enough with the pickleball. I don't even know what it is. It's like mini tennis with tiny rackets or something. I don't know. That doesn't cost millions of dollars. But no, they want to build a long, strong, and enduring race team. Why? To help support NHRA drag racing and continue to build this thing into something bigger, to push it up. You got to have a young person like Justin and Josh Hart and all of these guys that are coming in. They need to continue. They need to grow. They need to expand. Because if you're not expanding, if you're not growing, you're shrinking because everything is growing around you. So there's that. Good job, Bishop. Let's see. Stephen, always a great show, and thanks for the information. Justin, now I need to become a Patreon to WFO. Yeah, you do. All of last year's champions are suffering. Erica, yes. Brittany, I wouldn't call it suffering just yet. Caps, not suffering, but winless. So, Tony Bogolo, Tony Electric Bogolo. That's a loans line, but I like it. Facts and Firearms. Way to go, Lauren. Tony's cool, man. Tony's cool. I would like to, and JP Gutierrez. There's one new Top Alcohol Funny Car coming out. Will be out before the end of the season, says JP, who last year, these guys did such a great thing for me, and I'll never forget it, where they all wore WFO shirts that they bought that I didn't realize in secret. And they're on the starting line in their WFO gear because they listen to the show or watch the show every week, at the dinner table or something. And we hung out with them last year out in Norwalk. Me and Social Media Nikki went out there and we hung out and met the fam. And they are like diehard as it gets. I hope they have a good turnout this year. Come to Norwalk and see Tony Bogolo and Facts and Firearms Top Alcohol Funny Car. There you go at the regional. That's this weekend. Let's see. Anything else? No, there's a couple more comments hanging in there. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of WFO Radio. I told you I would be telling you something about next Thursday, and here it is. I have been invited to participate in Ron Cap's social media thing, BB Q&A. And so Caps and I are going to eat barbecue and answer questions. Like, does he ask me the questions? Do I ask him the questions? Like, I don't care about any of that. I think he asked me the question. No, Reinhart was on earlier this year, and this is happening in Bristol. So the barbecue place is in Bristol. I will be revealing that later. But I can tell you it's approximately 3 p.m. Eastern time next Thursday, not tomorrow, but next Thursday in Bristol. And they want, we've asked the place is okay with fans coming out. And so Caps is going to have his fans. I don't have fans. I have listener participants because I consider this as a group show and we're all just having fun together on WFO Talking Drag Racing, having fun. If you are WFO, part of the universe, if you are going to be there on Thursday, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow the WFO feeds. I will tell you about it on the show next week. I'll give you the location. And Caps will too. He's going to be pushing it out there as well. We got it all dialed in. Relatively new barbecue joint that I have done some research. It has gotten the double, triple thumbs up. Now, I will tell you, because this is my talk radio background, comes out every once in a while. There will not be complimentary food for anybody, right? We're going in there, we're ordering barbecue, we're paying for our barbecue, we're shooting a bit for social media there. Nobody's getting free anything. You're welcome to come out and take it all in and watch and cheer and be a part of the live studio audience and buy your own barbecue and enjoy it and pay for it and all that. And you're probably thinking, wow, those talk radio people really scarred you, Joe. And the answer is, yeah, kind of. Can't all be, everything be free for everybody everywhere. But I think you also knew that as well. So BBQ&A, Ron Caps next week, next Thursday before Bristol on Thursday, 3:00-ish. I think we're going to start at 3:15, but 3:00 will be a good time to be there. Where? Caps will tell you. I want to let him be the first to push it out there, and then I will amplify his deal. But we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be hot. Oh, that's not good. I've been there the last 2 years. I suggest if you're there, although it sounds like a new place, it's the place that I wanted to go, which is well known. I'm forgetting the name. It's on the side of a mountain, little dirt road. Reinhart used to go there. They're closed. So it was my second choice, which my second choice might end up being the first choice, because I love these old school places that have been there 100 years. I love them, but they are kind of stuck in their way, which is from 100 years ago. The new places, they figured out new stuff and they know how to get it done in the modern way. So this is a little bit more modern take on barbecue, but my spies have said it's incredible. So let's leave it at that. Hopefully you will join us, and Caps will have his screaming, adoring fans, and I will have the WFO universe there on site cheering us on. Eat those wings. Eat those wings. Eat those wings. I'm being silly now. Thanks to Maddi and Doug Gordon for coming on the show, and thanks to Justin Ashley for coming on the show, and thanks to Elin Werner for coming on the show and giving us a tour of Media Day for Bristol. How about Bristol? Bristol, baby. Getting hyped up. New England's going to be great. I think at this point, if you're a WFO viewer, you probably already shared the show 20 or 30 times, and you probably go to as many races as you possibly can. What I would say is bring your friends. We haven't had a bad crowd yet. I don't think we're going to start now. New England is an intimate setting based on last year. We had a lot of traffic. They had to go out and get racers in on scooters because the traffic was just piling in there. So get there early, but get there. Carpool. And then Bristol, of course, is a mega track. It is probably the first super track mega track. We'll see. A couple more comments. The WFO universe, and go WFO. Thank you very much. Ignition is in the archive. The Ignition show. We did a 1 hour or so Ignition show last night. Not the normal night, but we did it. Reinhart joined me yesterday. Wilkerson and Clay joined me last week. There's so much in the WFO archive. And if you have never downloaded the WFO mobile application, you should really do it now because it is great stuff. You get everything all at once on your mobile device. And those of you that are Android, it is being updated as we speak. People are like, the Android. I got it. We're good. But thank you for the heads up. And I appreciate that greatly. Again, thanks to Maddi Gordon. That is tremendous. What a great racing family. And Justin Ashley as well. Thank you, Justin. WFO, everybody. See you in New England.